Precision Time Protocol. Precision Time Protocol, also referred to as PTP, is a globally recognized standard for synchronizing the internal clocks of devices across a network, which can achieve accuracies less than a microsecond. Its use is detailed in the IEEE 1588 standard and has been around since 2002. Cognex uses PTP to synchronize readers in a group without the use of extra cabling. PTP functionality was introduced with the Dataman 360 series and has been included in all later models. Older models, like the Dataman 260, do not work with PTP. Unlike newer models, Dataman 503 utilizes an alternative synchronization method that requires additional hardware. PTP protocol allows for increased light output among readers without the need for additional hardware, and for image acquisition offset to prevent cross-illumination, which could cause glare and other image artifacts. Note that all readers synced by PTP must have the same exposure and interval for the sync to work correctly. Network configurations must also be taken into consideration when using PTP. Each PTP system should be on an isolated network. PTP operates over Ethernet. In an ideal network topology, a single gigabit Ethernet switch connects all readers. PTP may need UDP broadcast forwarding enabled, and certain managed switches may block frequent UDP to PTP broadcasts. Adding switches to the network increases latency with each hop and should be avoided. To synchronize readers, they first need to be in a multi-reader sync group, also referred to as an MRS group. Make sure all readers that will be added to the MRS group are connected and open. Once a reader is connected, open the Settings tab and select Multi-Reader Sync. Click Edit Group and then New Grouping. Double-click the name of the new group and type the desired group name. Next, click and drag the desired readers in the Discovered Devices pane to the Edited Group pane, or use the Add Discovered Devices button. To select multiple readers at a time, use Ctrl left click. Then, in the Edit Groups tab, select Apply and Save Grouping to Devices. Next, choose one reader in the group to set as the primary reader. The primary reader is the main reader in a system. It will receive and distribute trigger signals to the secondary readers, and aggregates results for output. The rest of the readers in the group will become secondary readers, which only acquire and decode images. To set the primary reader, select the desired reader in the Edited Group pane, and then under the Edit Group tab, select Set Primary Camera. Next, select Apply and Save Grouping to Devices. It is recommended to save settings on each reader individually. Now, PTP settings need to be configured for each reader in the MRS group. Start on the Connect page and double left-click the reader to open its configurations. Next, open the Settings tab, and then select Multi-Reader Sync. The synchronization settings are broken down into two sections: PTP Stack Parameters, which are settings for PTP protocol, and setting a reader's status as a primary or secondary reader, and Trigger Synchronization, which are settings that control trigger timing on synchronized readers. Under PTP Stack Parameters, click the checkbox next to Enable PTP. Then, for all secondary readers, check Secondary Camera Only. Leave this checkbox empty if configuring a primary reader. Status displays how the PTP group is currently functioning. Master means PTP is working and the reader is currently functioning as the primary camera. Slave also means PTP is working, but that the reader is currently functioning as a secondary camera. Anything else listed under status, like listening, disabled, or unknown, means PTP is not working. Under Trigger Synchronization, check Enable MRS Synchronized by PTP to enable trigger synchronization, and then configure the timing settings. Time between trigger start and synchronized acquisition timestamp is the amount of time that is required to contact all secondary readers, and program the acquisition time onto the PTP hardware. A good value to use is 10,000 microseconds. To account for this offset, the system photo eye may need to be adjusted upstream, especially on high-speed belts. Typically, 3/4 to an inch will do. This may be confirmed by calculating the distance traveled during the acquisition delay via the belt speed. The final setting is the local offset added to synchronize acquisition timestamp. This can be used to offset readers and prevent cross-illumination due to synchronized lighting. This value should be around twice the exposure time. Test this by buffering images. Note that volume testing is needed to confirm if this is working. Testing 1 or 2 packages will not confirm if this is working all of the time. To recap, here are some best practices for using PTP. Make sure the network is isolated. Use a single gigabit switch for all readers. Check Enable PTP and Enable MRS Synchronized by PTP on all readers. Check Secondary Camera Only on all secondary readers. Set time between trigger start to 10,000 microseconds. And relocate the photo eye upstream to compensate for the start delay. Reduce exposure time to compensate for increased lighting if necessary. Use the same interval and exposure times for all readers using PTP, and any local offsets should be set to twice the exposure.